celebration is about, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So now I request Neeraj.
Quote, call me David, you know me well. Call me Nigerian, I'm happy. But call me librarian, you have said it all. Proudly librarian, David Ofili. Now I request Miss Akhila Arora, librarian Bal Bharti School Rohini, also founder, member and treasurer of SLA, to welcome our guests of honors for today's celebration. Over to you, Akhila ma'am.
Thank you so much, Miss Neeraj. Librarians always remind me that there are good things in this world. So rightly quoted by an American singer, Lauren Wall. My warm greetings to the gathering. On behalf of SLA India, I feel privileged to welcome all the library professionals on this virtual gathering. 12th August is celebrated as the National Librarian Day in India to commemorate the birth anniversary of Dr. S.R. Ranganathan, father of library science. We are extremely grateful to SLA India for giving this platform to all the librarians for their professional growth and development. Under the mentorship of our President, Ms. Madhu Bhargav, and General Secretary, Mr. S.L. Feder. Today, we are privileged to have with us Dr. B. Sadrick as our guest of honor. He has a lot of achievements to his credits as far as professional achievements are concerned. Dr. Shadrick was associated with the Global Libraries Program of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in India and served as the chair of the International Network of Emerging Library Innovators Program in South Asia. He also founded the Indian Public Library movement and was highly devoted to see the IPLM emerge as the voices of Indian public librarians and other stakeholders. I welcome you, sir, for the Librarian Day celebration on behalf of Team SLA India. We have two other distinguished Rajiv and Ms. Jacob representing two different sectors of school. We feel honored to have with us Ms. Sunita Rajiv, Headmistress Alcon International School. She is an educator who is actively involved in the matters of school library and a friend of SLA who has shown keen interest to involve in the affairs of school librarians in general and SLA in particular. Welcome, ma'am. We are grateful to welcome one of our member school associate principal, Ms. Jacob, St. Paul School, Hoskas. During her 24 years of career as an educationist, she has managed the editorial board of the school magazine along with the responsibilities of school parliament coordinator and the coordinator of academic ministry and cultural affairs in the Father Eknal schools in Noida and Delhi. Welcome, ma'am. Last but not the least, it is the attendees of the program deserves a special welcome. Mostly the member school librarians who are heart and soul of SLA. Without their support and bonding, SLA would not have reached this height. Hearty welcome to all my dear friends watching this program through the Meet as well as live through our YouTube channel. The celebration is an expression of gratitude to all the library professionals who are working earnestly and making their digital footprints visible to the society. Let's begin the celebration.
Thank you, Akhila ma'am. Quote, in the non-stop tsunami of global information, librarians provide us with floaties and teach us to swim. Lantern peaks, unquote. Now I request our President, Ms. Madhu Bhargava, to present the presidential address. Over to you, ma'am.
Ma'am, you are on mute.
Unmute yourself, ma'am.
Good, I have to say it again. Light up, librarians. It's time to ignite and empower each other for momentum. Your skills are now in demand, And now it's time to hold each other's hands and move forward. Good evening. In an Atlantic article, behavioral scientist Katie Milkman notes, normally we go about our daily lives and tend not to change our behaviors. We need some triggering event that leads us to step back and think of a bigger picture. The pandemic compelled us as school librarians to step back and think of a fresh start if physical libraries are on hold and not accessible. The pandemic also created new situations where we adapted ourselves to find new solutions to problems beyond our imagination. I don't hesitate to say that we have witnessed a radical transformation of school librarians and libraries from physical to virtual, and now school libraries are landing straight on the phones of students and parents. I'm proud to say that librarians are all in a new avatar. SLA has been a huge window to vent out the stress and bring positivity to the whole community of librarians. There have been immense community outreach programs conducted by SLA in small and large groups. The programs have empowered the school librarians from all over India to face the challenges and solve the problems and issues. I envision bright lights on the horizon for the profession of school librarianship. Let us embrace the aurora borealis. Congratulations to all of you on this occasion. Let's celebrate your enthusiasm, which prevailed even when in worse situations. Let's celebrate your resilience and profound stamina to withhold and hold others' hands in adversity. Salute to all of you on this very special day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for those warm words. Now, before I invite our chief guest for today's event, let me take you back to GD Goenka University 2017 October, where BSLA began its journey with 22 passionate librarians who were trained for leadership programs by IFLA, Netherlands, one and only recognized National Association for School Librarians was renamed SLA during the recognition period. Along with that, SLA pays homage to Sri Rajshekhar Devrai, founder member, vice chairman, and a great visionary of library professionals who left us to the heavenly abode. SLA team is striving hard to fulfill his dreams and passion for library professionals. Now we'll have a quick recap video which has been prepared by PLC team coordinators, Mr. Mohammad Shafi and Mr. Wasim. I now request Mr. Shafi to screen the video. Shafi, sir. Over the times when SLA...
One minute, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed. Okay. Now, I welcome our Chief Guest of Honor, Dr. B. Shadrach, the voice behind Indian Public Library Movement, who is working tirelessly for the span of 30 years, to address the gathering with his insight and experience over the years. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity to interact with the school librarians of India. My commendation to everyone involved in it. I remember the days of your establishment in 2017 when two of my colleagues, Ingrid and Pramila, came down to support you with their BSLA program of IFLA. I also fondly recall Mr. Devrai, who I had the opportunity to meet in Ranchi in the year 1995, if I remember correctly, when he wanted to become the librarian of the National Fashion Technology Institute in Ranchi. Probably he was already working in another institute that time, and he wanted to relocate to Ranchi. That's when I met him, and he kept in touch with me. And thank you to him, because he has been one of those stalwarts of the school library movement. I'm glad to know that there is one and the only recognized library association in the form of School Library Association, thanks to the hard work of the 22 librarians who came together to form this organization. And I'm quite intrigued to learn about your objects of the SLA, which revolves around teacher librarianship and the idea of integrating library programs into the school instructional design and curriculum. It's really heartening that you focus a lot on working with children and youth and promoting all forms of literacy, whether it's information literacy or other related skills. And you want to be a body recognized by the government for the significance of school librarianship. And you are not very far away from very many established associations of this kind. When you look at the Australian Librarian Information Association, of their teacher librarians program, they envisage school librarians as curriculum leaders, apart from information specialists and information service providers. And in Australia, there is a practice of librarians working alongside the principal and senior staff members to ensure information literacy outcomes are a major focus of the school. They are involved in curriculum planning, school curriculum committees. They are the ones who raise awareness on the need for information skills and resource-based learning, what they call. And they use their own knowledge of information processing as a framework for create that kind of skill and demonstrating that literacy is a high priority right from the elementary education to the secondary education. If you look at the New Zealand practice, the government has a huge support program for school libraries. They focus on improving students' outcomes through the libraries by having the libraries conduct school impact studies. And they also come up with library guiding documents for enriching teaching learning programs. They have inquiry learning, what they call inquiry-based learning, both for students and teachers, which are conducted by librarians. Of course, literacy and reading are the mainstay, where they have reading engagement. But interestingly, they also have a provision to profile the school community, all the stakeholders of the school, for valuing the school community, and to invite the people into the libraries and make the space very inviting. The New Zealand government authorities also support libraries with library design plans and so on. These are all apart from the typical library services the librarians are involved in. And in the States, American Library Association, the American Association of School Librarians, for instance, right from elementary librarians program, which has almost 500 fund-based lesson plans for librarians to handle, so that they can inculcate research skills, citation skills, reading strategies amongst both the teachers and students. And even if you do not have a library in place, these lessons can be used by the teachers of the school. And not only at the national level, at the provincial level, they have model library curriculum, wherein they support the learning outcomes which are actually coded as standards in America. There are quite a few standards that every child has to meet. And in this case, say Pennsylvania, if you take for example, the Pennsylvania State Library model curriculum would enable every student to achieve 44 of the core standards, and librarians play an important role in the entire instructions. And even at the township level, not just national, provincial, but also at the township and district levels, librarians provide direct intervention to school outcomes. Interestingly, the profession has been so recognized in many of the Western countries, and India is one aspiring to be one of those, and obviously a country with the maximum number of students and teachers on the job. Of course, the number of librarians are also huge. One needs to aspire for it. When it comes to the universities, you have the University of Iowa having an MA in Teacher Librarian program. Texas A&M University has EdTech Library Science Masters for teachers. North Carolina Central University has an academic librarianship program with specialization for schools. Longwood University has MEd in librarianship, school librarianship. So given the fact that there are 1.5 million schools in India, roughly about, this is 2017 statistics of the Government of India, of which 1 lakh schools are senior secondary school, 100,000 schools are senior secondary level, with nearly 11 million teachers. Of course, 4 million vacancies are yet to be filled. So 7 million teachers catering to 25% of the population of the country, which is in the age group of 0 to 15. And if you add the secondary school, it would go up to 28% of the entire country. School librarians have a huge role to play. And I commend the School Library Association for the journey that you have started off, because you have started off a journey that would impact 28% of the Indian population. Going forward, these are our future leaders. And if you are strong enough, the libraries are strong enough, school libraries, the citizens will come out stronger. And I really wish you all the very best. But I also want to, give you two ideas, rather suggestions for you to pursue. The newsletter that you are releasing today, congratulations. It's the first ever online edition of your newsletter, which covers a lot of ground. Now, one thing that you might wish to consider is to conduct a national level school library survey. You could conduct this in a triangulation fashion among students, teachers, and librarians, or teachers and educators, librarians, and students, to understand the collection, technology policies, activities, engagement plans, parental involvements, and quite a few things that you consider to be important. So that would be a very good advocacy instrument for you to expose the current status of school libraries in the country. And it would also give you an opportunity to come up with a national level school library manifesto. I think a standard that you would live up to. Something similar to what the Australians, the New Zealanders, and the Americans and the UK systems have done, by coming up with kind of a minimum standards or a minimum plan enshrined in the manifesto, which could, similar to the School Library Association manifesto, you could come up with a school library manifesto, which every library in the country of the so many millions of schools out there, at least the 1 lakh senior secondary schools, if not all the 1.5 million schools embrace it. But if you could have mission, purpose, the HR, standards that would be required for different sizes of libraries and different types of libraries, the resource plan, the legal and financial framework, the evaluation and value for money framework, the PR plan, that would be very helpful. Not only as an eye-opener to the current new Education Minister, Dharmendra Pradhan, but also for many educators who are aspiring to now come up with implementing the national education policy. And if you have time in the years to go forward, you've been talking a lot about OER production and OER movement within the school libraries. You could also consider now, thanks to the pandemic, a blessing in disguise has been that we no longer depend on the Khan academies, and of course we want to really use all those resources, NDLI, Khan Academy, Prathams, Test India, World Reader, all these resources we want to use. But as school librarians, you could produce. All the Zoom lectures can be, edited and produced in a small capsule format and archived. So you could have in no time at least 100,000 such, capsules of video lectures produced by your own dear teachers. And of course, you can encourage your students also to produce such videos. So what I would call for is a huge OER production, which is owned by the School Library Association or the consortium, which actually enables support, supports each other, made available to not only to the elite schools, but also those schools that are struggling to teach students and produce content during the pandemic. And we are actually going to witness this kind of a scenario, cycles of pandemic, happening in the future with the red alert issued by the IPCC and others. We are only seeing a kind of a blended model of education for the future. And I think, this would be a great service if you have the time in the next 2-3 years to do so. But also, I think I would greatly encourage the school librarians to do a surgery of library curriculum of today. It's irrelevant to the teacher librarianship. We are talking about instructional design, curriculum development, early childhood development. We are talking about information literacy to media literacy to preventing children from fake news and secure them online and so on. So B.Ed in teacher librarianship is something overdue for a country like India. And that too, particularly at a time that many tech companies are entering the field, experimenting with schools such as, say, Teacher Advisor with Watson, George Tech, AI-based teacher assistant program that they've come up with. In China, there are AI-enabled education. Allen Institute has come up with a range of artificial intelligence tools for school libraries. You have Stanford, a Smile Initiative, Class VR. Quite a lot of these things are happening, and librarians have to be seen to be very important, at least almost important to my former boss, Kevin Spears, who actually left the British Council as the South Asia, the very last Brit head that we had in Asia. Kevin Spears actually used all his experience to secure a high school librarian's job. That was the pride moment for him, because it was so difficult even for a British Council information head to find a school librarian's job in the UK. And that's the pride that librarians enjoy. And I also enjoyed being a librarian 33 years ago at the Kotagiri Public School in Nilgiris in 1988. And thank you for reminding me of my time and inviting me to this August gathering. Happy Librarians Day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful insight. And definitely we'll work out on the points that you have mentioned. And before I say thank you, I would just give a brief. SLA-India's newsletter is a showcase of knowledge, wisdom, and experience of various school librarians in the form of articles and write-ups. So I now request you, sir, to please launch the online edition of SLA newsletter.
So the way that you would like me to launch would be
present, yes, sir.
Showcase that, or how do you want me to do?
You can present your screenshot.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you, sir.
I don't know if it is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can see Geeta Mukunda and the office bearers, Ms. Bhargava, Mr. Faisal, and the editor of the newsletter, self. So very commendable to see the first books released by Girish Tumkur, again one of my former colleagues at the British Council, who went on working for the for various organizations, including BITS Pilani. Very interesting, experiment during the pandemic by Bell's Model School. And I happened to browse this report, workshop report, which is very stunning. It's in such a short period, you seem to have excelled in presenting yourselves as the voice of the school library movement, stimulating discourse for the new national education policy. So congratulations. And here with this, I have the privilege of launching this online edition today.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Let's welcome Ms. Sunita Rajiv, Headmistress, Elcon International School, Mayur Bihar, friends and close associate of SLA, to say a few words. We welcome you, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, and my profound pranam to our honorable chief guest, to Madhuji, for having me here. I think I must have done something good to be landing in such a profound and such a knowledgeable program. I consider librarians to be the richest people in the organization, because what we vie for, we take 1 book, 2 books, 3 books, maybe 4, but they are surrounded with thousands. All the time, the sunshine of knowledge is actually falling on them. And I think the librarian has always the bird's eye view of the education scenario. First, when Madhuji gave me the invitation, I thought I'll prepare a presentation. But in the online mode, when we don't get to see people, I thought I'll see the glint in your eyes, the smiles on your faces, and I'll rather enjoy that instead of, simply facing a placard of a screen. So I'm just going to speak about things. I see the librarians as the most knowledgeable in a way. They gain everything, everyone rushes to them for any project. But while in the success story of an organization, be it school, university, or a college, the senior most section pats the back saying the results were great. The pre-primary or the foundation layers always say we laid the foundation. Middle and primary, they always say we strengthen the skeleton system of the school. Like many, a group of people who are forgotten sometimes, librarians are amongst them. Seldom do we call them on stage, thank them, say our gratitude to them. Just, maybe a book week or a librarian's day is one day, but that is one profound contribution in the growth of an organization, which is that of a librarian. I don't need to sing praises. You all are very knowledgeable. But here I am here, like our chief guest said, about 2 suggestions. I thought I'd make 2 points here. Now from the times when you used to organize book weeks in the school, competitions like book review competitions, sometimes authors week, sometimes read a book and paint a pot, make the bookmarks, these kind of things were done offline. Smartly enough, in the pandemic, during the pandemic, when teachers were graduating from simple educators to techno-savvy educators, in some of the organizations, we also witnessed the librarians graduating into a new avatar altogether. So in the class WhatsApp group came the newspapers e-copy, came the books e-copy, came the audibles, came the stories, came the even the audios of certain stories. So librarians were actually spreading their arms like Durga, right? But I have to make first point here is this. When the roadmap of the curriculum is being made, when meetings are being held, and you are not given an invitation to be in that meeting, I would request you to assert your right. I would request you to take one step further and ask the head of the institution or the in charge, good morning, I need to know what is the theme that is going to be taken. Let us say, as a case study, a school takes up sustainable development goals as their roadmap. Don't you think the librarian needs to know about it? So next time the students or the teachers walk in, he or she would definitely serve. Here are the books you're looking for on climate reality, on good and happiness and well-being, on the life below water or oceans and so on and so forth. So instead of modestly or quietly or serenely remaining and fading in the background, I think librarians need to take one step forward. Maybe in some cases that is also being done. But I would say now is the time, this is the time when you have to say, I have to be there whenever any curriculum planning is being done in any subject, because you always have an overarching view of the entire curriculum and the roadmap for the school or the organization. This is my first appeal. My second appeal to you is, sir has gently made suggestions. I would say I'm making a fervent appeal to you. Now you see, our children, if you ask them, they know about entire series of Harry Potter. They know Dan Browns. They know many more things even I'll not be able to name. Ask them about Vivekananda. Ask them about Vikram Sarabhai. Ask them about the great stalwarts of Indian or even the ancient literature, science, and the discoveries of it, or the Vedas, or the Gyan that is there in the country. Now, the child will not be able to answer that. Why? You know, when you go to a marriage party, in your plate you serve what is there on the table. My request here is, what we have, just on a popular demand, we have made it very, very easy for them to issue, digest, read, etc. Why not, as librarians, take the initiative of bringing into their lives the tradition, the culture, the heritage, and the richness of their own country? Our children are growing, and they're growing fast. They're techno gurus. They will teach you and me how to go about things on the screen. But at the same time, remember, these techno gurus have weak roots. More than half of the population of our children is very ready to leave the country. Why? Because they want to study abroad. And you know very well, those who study abroad, mostly, not all, mostly, they do not come back. What do I have to say here? I have to say here one thing. When the Indian child begins taking the pride in his own country, he will understand the value of his nation. Why does the entire West turn to us when it comes to spirituality? And why does every Indian child, just think of going to simply in Harvard or Stanford? I have nothing against any university. But I am against one thing. Why are we not strengthening that value culture, and which can be very easily done at this time during this e-mode by serving them these things in their inboxes? So librarian can simply take one step forward, and with that newspaper, with that podcast, can come a daily dose of a slice from our ancient culture, Indian history, Indian mythology, and you know very well that so many things are unknown today. So on this great day, when you are all congregated and the noble work that you are doing, I must touch your feet, I would say. But I would definitely appeal to you that in this country, I think today, the librarian has to take the torch forward and let all others forward. Because if I'm an English teacher, I'll be worrying about the English texts and English literature. If somebody's a maths teacher, would think about the maths text. You are one who is an overarching figure, and you can see the bird's eye view and really make the tradition and the culture and the heritage very close and deep into the Indian heart. So this is my one request. This Frost's lovely line, the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. So on this day, if you think on that, I'm sure it's going to be a different story from tomorrow onwards. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for those motivating words.
Thank you so much.
So friends, quiz time. All set for the quiz. So gear up, put on your thinking caps, and here we go. Over to you, Akhila ma'am and Dr. Sarvesh Parikh.
Thank you, Neeraj. Thank you so much. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. This special quiz is based on the library literature.
All the participants are requested, please join the quiz through the link shared in the chat box. And the code is also there on your screen. Ma'am, you simply click on the link and you will be there in the quiz.
We request all the participants and guests of honors to be part of this interesting quiz.
Shall I start the quiz? Irfan sir, please mute yourself. Two seconds more. I'm ending now. Very well done to all the winners, Neeraj, Aisha, Vandana, and these are the leaderboards. Thank you so much for your participation.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful quiz. Thank you, sir. So after this exciting quiz session, let's welcome Ms. Susan Jacob, Principal St. Paul's School's hostess, an avid reader and music lover, to say a few words. Over to you, ma'am. We welcome you, ma'am.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So good evening, everyone. Guest of honor, Dr. Shadrach, other distinguished guests, Ms. Madhu Bhargava, President SLA, members of the SLA, and all the others present here. Before I say anything else, I would like to congratulate the School Librarians Association for carrying on this tradition of celebrating National Librarians Day, and by that, giving importance to our librarians nationwide. You know, I agree with what ma'am spoke just before me, where she said that librarians are not actually given enough importance, I would say, where they're taken for granted as, I don't even know whether they are called teachers in many schools. We used to call them teachers when we were in school, where they just accepted as people who are there to just give out books and take them back and ask the children to keep quiet while they're in the library. So I feel they are people who are taken for granted, and that should not be. Yes, it would be wonderful if we could have them as part of our curriculum decision. When we decide that, it would be really very good to have them over there. As a student of English literature, libraries have played a very important part in my life. I would say that libraries are earthly paradises for those who love books and those who love reading. I'd just like to mention or talk about a small anecdote, something that happened during my school days. When we were in school, we too had just one period of library, which I did not like very much. I thought it should be given more importance than any other subject over there. Definitely far more importance than physics and chemistry and all those boring subjects that we have to study. But this one period was something that I think all of us looked forward to, and that I feel is very sad, is lacking in the modern generation, where children somehow do not want to read, or maybe they find movies and TV shows more exciting. Whether you mentioned Harry Potter or ma'am mentioned, Dan Brown, it's for them, it's far more interesting to watch it on the screen and not think, not imagine. Everything is there presented for you. In my case, or in our case, I would say our generation, it was very different. After reading a book, if I ever watched a movie, I was sorely disappointed. It was, nothing like what I actually imagined it to be. And I thought I could imagine far better than any of those movie producers and directors and so on. The love of reading is something that has to be inculcated in school. I would say it would start with parents when children are very, very small, where you read to them or you tell them stories. But then immediately, soon after that, the school takes over. I will not say teachers, it's everybody in the school. So I'm not separating librarians over there. Everyone should play a role in getting children interested in reading. But why children? When we sit for our interviews, and especially when we sit down to interview English teachers, and we ask them, what is the last book that you have read? And they say, ma'am, I'm actually, too busy to read. Or, it's been some time. Yes, of course, I read the textbooks. Right, so who's your favorite writer, or whom do you love reading? Well, it's always Shakespeare for an English teacher. And I ask them, do you actually go to bed every night, go to sleep reading Shakespeare? I wouldn't even know what I was doing if I was reading Shakespeare every night. I would rather have Agatha Christie murder me or things like that, or even taken to the magic world of Harry Potter. what I mean to say that it's really very sad. We talk about reading, we tell children to read, whether it's the English teachers, even others, everyone knows the importance of reading. You cannot improve your language, whichever it may be, whether it is English, whether it is Hindi, any language, without actually reading. You learn a lot over there. We talk to children, I won't say I because I'm a great reader, but then many of us are readers. But there are teachers who are very good at advising children about reading. So I would like this library association to help us to encourage teachers to read. That would be something really very nice, I think. It would widen their horizons. Sometimes the questions you ask the children, they can answer. But when they write this CTET and other exams, there's a lot of general knowledge there, general awareness, I would say. And I really don't know how many of our teachers can actually pass that test. They may be good in mathematics or in science or in their particular subject. But otherwise, I really wonder. Sometimes I wonder, what can we do to get our children to read? If you take a class of, say, 40 or 45 students, there may be 5 or 10 maximum. That is a maximum number who really enjoy reading. What about the others? Aren't they missing out on something wonderful? They are literate. They know how to read and write. If they can read boring things, I'm sorry, I hope there are no physics, chemistry, maths teachers here. If they can read boring things like that, why not the wonderful world of fiction? Children sometimes ask me, being an English teacher myself, ma'am, which book should I read? And I say, just read. Read anything, but read, just read, do that. So this is what I say. And I would like to, as I told you, mention this anecdote something that happened in school. I studied in a school, it was a convent of nuns, and Dr. Shadrach, you said that you worked in Kotagiri. I was delighted to hear that because I'm from Nazareth Convent, Ooty. So we had those very, very strict nuns who were there. And of course, the librarian is one person who can actually keep an entire class of noisy, talkative girls quiet with just one look. That was more than enough. We were not allowed to breathe in the library, I would say. And punishment in the library, if we talked, we couldn't whisper, we couldn't even look at each other. If we did, was not being allowed to borrow a book or take a book that weekend. That is something that a lot of us did not like, because it was not like these days where there were books, bookshops in plenty, and we could walk into whichever place and there would always be a shelf of books, whether it is at home or anywhere else. So our resort was always the school library. That was a place that we loved. Holidays or any day, even a weekend, always meant, an extra book or a book that we could take. So we used to go to this library, and of course, as I told you, we would not talk, of course. Now, I came from a school where punishment was not allowed those days. Nowadays, of course, people take you to court. Those days, nobody went to court, but you were just not allowed to corporally punish a child. We were not even asked to stand outside the classroom or in the classroom or in the corner of a classroom. Even that was not done. So punishment when you did something wrong, whether it was not doing your homework, whether it was not bringing a text or notebook to class, whether it was talking in the class, punishment was always banishment to the library. And that's something that we all loved a lot. Many of us loved a lot. The nuns thought they were doing something terrible, but then we really enjoyed that. Now, the nicest thing over there is, yes, we used to go to the library. They would send us there. It was a kind of catch-22 situation. You were scared to do something wrong, whether it was something to do with studies or even behavior or whatever it may be. But at the same time, if you didn't do anything wrong, you wouldn't be sent to the library for extra time. So we had to decide between that. Studies, messing up with books and studies, those were out of the question for me. But I used to be sent to the library for talking in the class quite often. How do you think I became a principal? It's just the gift of the gab. So practiced in school, that's what I did. Anyway, we used to go to the library. And since it was punishment, we were not allowed to sit in the storybook section. That's what it was called in our school. We were made to sit in the encyclopedia and journal sections, magazines, but of course no, Bollywood or any other kind of magazine, but good, educative magazines. So we had to sit in that section. And I can't tell you how much I read and learned those days. Those sisters, when I look back, at those days, I think that those nuns, they achieved a lot. See, it was both discipline as well as education. They taught us that we did something wrong, therefore you were looked down upon or frowned upon because of that. But at the same time, what was the punishment? to enhance your knowledge. And that, I think, was something really, really wonderful. And that's why I feel there are many nice ways and other ways, I don't know other ways, but in which we can actually encourage children to read. Today we celebrate National Librarians Day, the birth anniversary of Dr. S.R. Ranganathan, who was a librarian himself and an educator too. You know, I feel librarians are actually wonderfully different teachers. They don't give us exams, they don't mark us, they don't give us homework, yet they play a very important role in the learning process. I see my librarian, she's over here in this group, and no, I'm not, it is not personal in that way, but I'd just like to say a word where I've always appreciated her for the amount of work that she has done. And she's always thankful to you, the Library Association, because she tells me all the ideas, everything, they come from there. And she says, ma'am, they train me really well. And I've told her, you know, Nina, you are even better than the English teachers, I would say, because they teach the subject, the rules of grammar, this and that, but you bring in a love of reading. That is very important. And that's why I feel that all librarians, I'm sure, are like her, and all of you are doing a wonderful job. I thank the SLA for doing so much for the librarians, for recognizing them. I think when we were children, that was not there where librarians were concerned. And what you do in turn awakens a lot of enthusiasm among the students in the form of various activities. They love taking part in that. And even during this pandemic, I have seen how keen students are to attend the library classes. And every day, I would say every day, she's got something or the other to keep them occupied, and they are interested in what she's doing. So thank you very much, and may you continue to enrich our children's lives. Congratulations for the launch of the newsletter. I really look forward to reading it every time. Happy Librarians Day, and thank you.
Miss Neeraj, I am breaking the protocol of the online meeting. I am so sorry, but I'm taking this opportunity to thank very personally to, I mean, I'm really thankful to Mr. Shedrack, Ms. Sunita Rajiv, and Ms. Susan. I mean, it's so comprehensive that you spoke, and it's so enlightening that I'm really at a loss of words to thank you people to come over and, you know, actually motivate everyone. And thank you is the only word. I'm sorry.
It's an honor, ma'am. It's an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for those motivating words. Members speak. I now invite Mr. Alok Jaiswal, Librarian KV Gilnagar, Chennai, to express his viewpoint as a member librarian of SLA India. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Most respected Chief Guest of the day, Sri Sadrit sir, SLA President Madhu ma'am, GS sir, Faisal sir, and most beloved learned library professionals here. Very happy to be here as a day we are celebrating National Librarians Day today. And this platform, SLA, School Library Association of India, really a great platform for me. When I joined this platform, I was doing the routine work as a librarian, but being a member of SLA, I learned a lot from here. This platform has given me a lot of opportunity to learn a different innovative things, tools, really tools and ideas from your side. The best part of SLA, sharing and learning is the best part of SLA. Everybody, whatever they have freely shared to each other, and from them we learn, and whatever we have, we share to our students. Really, my school students are very happy now to know new tools and teaching learning activity what we are providing to students nowadays. Previously, okay, issue has written the book, children are taking the books, reading, writing the book reviews. That is the way, the common way we are all are doing it. The different activities, book reviews or bookmark designing, book coding, this is general activities, but that is all offline. But once the scenario changed, the pandemic time, the really great challenge for us to be with them, to how to convert us. We are not a teacher, taking a subject, a particular subject and completing a syllabus. But without children, how we will be? But when the platform comes, like we are started using the tool, like we are here together. Same way, now we are with the students, our books with them. We have created new tools, how we are able to provide our books in e-forms. So children are getting books. Now they started writing digital book reviews. Children writing digital book reviews. In the way of digitally, we are getting the book reviews, and we are finding the most beautiful way of writing, how they are writing. Now designing part, all digital bookmarks. Even children are participating in international digital bookmarks now. My school children participated with Portugal, and we shared digital bookmarks from each school, from Portugal and from India. Same way, other things, many things. Now the way how we are sharing the things, the beautiful platforms that I have learned from this platform. Readworks, Nearpod, oh, a wonderful platform. Book creators, really, good job. Canva, oh my god. So all, I have no word to tell these platforms, really the wonderful platform which we are happily sharing with students, and they are enjoying our class. And sometimes they say, sir, your class is wonderful, more than subject teachers. And once that they sharing these things, teachers comes to us and ask, sir, what are you doing, what are you teaching, tell us also. Then I share. These all I have learned from a platform which is called School Library Associations. They all learned professionals are there. They are sharing their things, and I am sharing with you. So this is a give and take now, and really I'm very happy to share my views, and very much thankful to all of you, dear friends. Really, this is a part, being a part of SLA. Really, I am very grateful to all of you to giving it this opportunity, especially. I thanks to Madhu ma'am, Faisal sir, and of course Darshana ma'am, behalf of SLA, she called me, and all team members, they are all close friends, we are all together always. But SLA makes us more close, become a very member of a family, and day by day, daily, something new thing we are learning, and really, and it is very much giving a professional advancement, I can say. Now it is a professional advancement for us. To each librarians having so many tools, so they can execute their work in day by day, and they reach all of students, even parents also. So we are getting all feedback from parents and students nowadays, and they are very happy to learn through this way. So thank you, sir. Thank you, Team SLA. Thank you so much for giving the opportunity. And at last, very happy National Librarian Day to all. We should not forget our S.R. Ranganathan, sir, which are our father of library science. So we are all together now. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable feedback. Quote, to build up a library is to create a life. It's never just a random collection of books, unquote. Transition of libraries from offline to online. So let's have a quick look at SLA members' transformation from desk librarian to digital librarian during this pandemic. So we are having a virtual journey screened using Book Creator, compiled by Mrs. Darshana, Ms. Titiksha, and Ms. Ishwar.
Happy Librarians Day. I'm Srilata from the Hyderabad Public School, Begumpet. The transition from offline to online as a librarian is a lifetime experience to me. We are not only learning the modern techniques but are also successful in implementing them. The most happiest thing I observed is the number of students showing interest to read has increased remarkably during digital classes. One day, all of a sudden, a student says, "Ma'am, I love your class very much because we learn many things in your class, especially the new words and their meanings. I love them the most." And it is followed by other students saying, "Yes, ma'am, we also like the morals and the messages you discuss after every presentation." It is the most cherished and proud moment in my career, as it's not only because the students are learning but are getting an opportunity to guess and showcase their talents without hesitation or feeling low. Thank you.
Good evening to everyone. When it comes to the path of following librarianship, it was not planned at all. Perhaps I was destined to be a librarian. Love for reading and books was there since I can remember. It started from newspaper, Champa, Chanda Mama, Raj Comics. Then graduated to Dan Brown, O. Henry, George Orwell, Frank Kafka, Kazuo Ishiguro, Oren Babu, to name a few. I even do not spare Grey's Anatomy at his wall lying idle on my roommate desk, who was preparing for his MD entrance exam. As I was said, it was not planned at all, but I was destined to be a librarian.
Gurgaon. As you know, during pandemic, there were so many challenges for everyone. Being a librarian, even we are facing so many challenges. There were quite challenges from in-person to online classes as a library period. Even people were doubt how it is possible for online library classes. But I am very happy. I am very happy to share these things. I am quite able to conduct online library classes in an interactive, creative, and fun way. Children are doing so many things in a very fun way and creative manner, like story weaving. They are able to write a story on a digital mode, book creator, online sudoku, and crossword puzzles are there. I am very happy, like there are quite challenges were there, but we have faced this and we have overcome from desk librarian to digital librarian. I have learned so many things from the SLA webinar and workshops from CBSE. So these are the showcase which I am showing you. Virtual library on different tools and other things also.
मजा आ गया। ये देखा ना देखो। ओ भाई साहब, सबसे पहले पता क्या है जो हमने भेजी है ना, सबसे पहले मेरी मुझे कर दिया है बुक क्रिएटिविटी।
Can you please
Anju,
mute yourself?
Mute yourself.
Member speak.
Neeraj.
Member speaks. Now I invite Mr. Panjalingam, Librarian, People Prodigy School, Coimbatore, to express his viewpoint as a member, Librarian of SLA-India. Over to you, sir.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. I am Panchalingam, working as a librarian, People Prodigy School, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. I would like to thank SLA to give me the opportunity to address the eminent gathering virtually. I would like to share the experience as a member of SLA. After joining SLA, I come to know about the role and the importance of librarian in school. School library is a new scenario to me because in earlier I worked in a college. Daily I used to go to school with the hope to influence the students and the teachers to use the library. After joining SLA, so many webinars and workshops I attended. I understand about my role in academic and personal development of the side. Thank you. Happy librarians to all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
The roots of all goodness lie in the soil of appreciation for goodness, Dalai Lama. With this quote, I now request Mr. S.L. Faisal, General Secretary, SLA, to present the vote of thanks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Distinguished guests and fellow members of School Library Association India. I would like to start with Dr. S.R. Ranganathan's quote. The library is the heart of the school from which everything connected with the education of the child should radiate and irradiate. So this very beautiful and thought-provoking quote reflects the true meaning of school library. The school library should radiate, it must be the beacon light of knowledge for all stakeholders, and along with that, it should irradiate the darkness in the minds of learners. So the library should serve as a lighthouse of knowledge, and at the same time, it helps them to eradicate or remove the darkness from their minds. So dear friends, on this Librarians Day today, we had eminent guest for this evening. My duty is to express the vote of thanks from the side of a School Library Association. I am very much grateful to our today's guest of honor, Dr. B. Sadra, a library professional with remarkable achievements and one of the main stays of India's public library movement. I'd like to say thanks to him for accepting our invitation and share his insights. Yes, sir. You had mentioned about three things that we can think of. First one is the survey, a national survey of school libraries around the country. Actually, when we started with IFLA BSLA conference in 2017, we had done a survey to find out how many libraries are there, how many school librarians are there around. And as you said, nearly 1.5 million libraries are there. With the existing statistics from the government side, we found that these 1.5 million libraries, nearly a very less percentage of libraries are having librarians. So it is very much essential to have a library survey with respect to school libraries for India. So we would pursue this task anyway. The second one, as you said that about the manifesto for school libraries, thus we all know that we are having IFLA manifesto. Then actually it is in the pipeline to have the translation of the IFLA manifesto by our association. Along with that, we will think about creating a manifesto for Indian school libraries. So thank you for that suggestion also. Regarding open education resources, that you said about the librarians are in a position to collect these resources and create these resources in another way, and which can be shared with the students, those who are not so much privileged around the country. As one of the objectives of our association to connect with the less privileged groups of India, less privileged children, and along with the librarians and teachers, okay, how we can support them, that we are thinking about for the last many months, and we have devised some strategies and some plans for that to reach out all these stakeholders. So regarding these open education resources, which will be created by school librarians around the country under the umbrella of a School Library Association, we will seriously think about these three suggestions, and we hope that you will get a result in the near future from School Library Association. We are sure that. Thank you, sir. So thank you for releasing our online newsletter also. So we started with the offline newsletter, and because of this strategic things, just like the reach was very less, and we thought about having an online version. And seriously, when we think about online version, we would like to include the multimedia and other hyperlinks and many things in this online version. So that is evident from the online version that you are having, or you have just released now. Along with text, we can have these multimedia hyperlinks and many other things. So we want to reach out more people. We want to reach out more librarians around the country, along with the other academicians. So we want to we want to reflect our concerns, and we want to share our thoughts with the total academia of the country. So we hope that this newsletter will be a right step from School Library Association, and thanks a lot for launching this newsletter, and we are stating that we found the exact person for the launching of this newsletter. Thank you, sir. Thank you for doing this wonderful favor for us. Regarding the school administrators, that we school librarians are facing a lot of issues. When we started the School Library Association helpline, we are getting a lot of queries from around the country regarding how to manage these things in our schools and how to deal with the teachers and principals especially. So, but along with that, we are finding a number of principals, a number of administrators from different schools around the country, those who are having the passion of reading, those who are passionate with the libraries also. So we can give a number of examples regarding this type of administrators from around the country. So we know that you are the cornerstones in the school, and without you, without the support of you, it is not possible for a single librarian to do all these things. So you people, the two principals, we are having one, Madam Sunita Raji from Headmistress means Eklon International School, and Madam Susan Jacob from St. Paul's School. These are the clear examples how the administrators, how the principals, how the leaders of the school must be. So you have given a lot of inspiration to us, and we will continue this saga of excellence with our skills and tools. So regarding Sunita Raji's ma'am's two suggestions, one is asserting your right, okay, asserting the quality, asserting the content, what you have. So that we have been doing, we have been trying to do. A lot of our librarians, those are parting with, means those are connected with School Library Association, we are trying to do all these things in our schools. But anyway, School Library Association is providing all support and all skills which they can use, or which will help them to stress their qualities, stress their content or importance in their schools. And regarding this, the imbibing the cultural values, or putting the cultural values with the students, that is also very good suggestion, that as Indians we have to follow our culture and values, and we have to spread the message of the great culture of India, great tradition of India also. So thank you for your suggestions, and we will think about, or we will pursue these suggestions in the future. So regarding Susan Jacob ma'am, the importance of reading, as she said that she is a passionate reader, and she had wonderful library experiences. But anyway, the libraries of the olden days, just like the ish librarians are there, those who are making making you silent always. So nowadays we are thinking about the libraries where you can interact, you can share your thoughts, you can connect with others, you can anyway you can, for a allowable noise is permitted in most of the libraries nowadays, and SLA is along with that also. The library must be a space where the students should come and interact and share their ideas and create new things. So we want to create new spaces in schools where anybody can come. Okay, we are there with open hands to invite you all, especially the teachers also. So regarding teachers, Susan ma'am said that teachers require different strategy to be attracted to the libraries. So a lot of activities we are doing, and we'll plan more things for that, and we'll find out. And we are requesting from the administrative side also to give some new ideas how to deal with all these things. So anyway, the School Library Association has been conducting a number of webinars, number of skill development sessions. We are having a special personal learning circle with us. So every month we are having activities, we are having webinars and sessions, means and dealing with all these issues and all these things. So thank you both ma'ams for their wonderful insights, and we are very much, the SLA is very much thankful to you for coming over here and interacting with us. Next, I would like to thank Mr. Alok Jaiswal and Mr. Panchalingam for their views on School Library Association, because we need feedback. We need feedback from the members. So whether it may be positive or negative, we are waiting for your feedback. So I'm very much thankful to these two members of SLA-India for expressing their views on SLA. Then regarding this newsletter, there was a team tirelessly working, relentlessly working to make it out or bring it out in a very fashionable, very relevant way. So I'm very much thankful to the team, publication team, and the team which made this book interactive ebook, book creator. So as you know that number of pages, nearly 60 pages are there, and there is a huge work lying behind this book creator. So whatever tools we are teaching to our members and whatever we are learning together, so we are trying it out anyway. So this was one such experiment where we learned a lot, and we did it collaboratively, and we found that very quite interesting also. So this great work was done by our team of members from the events team. And along with that, I would like to thank the whole event team for wonderfully executing this program. And at the end, I would like to thank our leader, Madhu ma'am. So it is a family matter. But anyway, Madhu ma'am, as the leader of the School Library Association, is leading us. There is no such example in the country where such an organization, which was not there just 3 years back, is now moving ahead with a lot of ambitions. So thank you for that wonderful leadership, ma'am, and all other members of School Library Association for your continuous support. And about this presentation of this introductory video also, I would like to thank the event team and for all this work conducted by the event team and the entire the association members for attending this meeting. And I would like to thank everyone for that. Thank you, Librarians Day for today. See you again. Thank you.
Every story has an end, but the story of SLA continues. Before we sign off, I request all of you to raise for the national anthem.
Should we start once more? I think it was audible to everyone.
Yeah, I think you can start once again, Wasi. The sound was not good. I request again all of you to please raise up. Wasim sir is comfortable.
So, Wasim sir, I will share that. No issue. I can share. Wasim
Yes,
sir,
please.
I will.
Yes,
Do.
Maybe some, yes,
No issue. I will
technical
do.
problem.
अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलतरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you again for inviting, and thanks especially to Darshana Gopinath, ma'am, who
Thank you, sir. It's a privilege to have you here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, all the way.
Mr. Shadrach, I am really obliged that you came over and the insight you gave, that was really amazing. And I can promise you that we are already working at the backdrop on this. But our first and foremost thing was to at least bring the librarians up front. We had great difficulty, bringing them up front. Nobody was willing to. As Miss Sunita and Miss Susan said, that they should come forward. But they're all shy. So now, actually, I'm sitting back and watching. Frankly, all this has been organized. My apology for any technical faults or whatever has happened. But truly, I came into picture today. I have been observing everything, and it is all their job. There was a time I was in every meeting, everywhere I had to, pitch in. Now I have to do nothing. So I'm 100% sure now they are already on that pathways, which will, I'm very sure, your AASL and IASL, they're all with us. IFLA and everyone, we have people